Hey guys, welcome back to According To. I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera. Happy 2024. This is our first
episode.
We're also recording this on January 1st, so it truly is 2024 for us as well.
Getting the year started right.
So, for today's episode, this has been a pretty popular trend on mostly TikTok, but I've seen it on other social media platforms as well, and it was also a thing last year.
Yeah.
But we're doing ins and outs of 2024. If you're unfamiliar with the trend, it's basically just people saying things that they want to start implementing in the new year or things that they want to get rid of in the new year.
So we've each crafted our own little list. It was easier for me to come up with different ins, which I think is good because it's like the ins are probably more positive and just like you're trying to be a better person, or like they're not all like self-help type stuff. They can be whatever you want. But I was having a harder time coming up with my outs, but I do have some things on there. Mm-hmm. So we'll get to that. We're going to start by just chatting about life recently, and we'll do our book updates. We'll do our weekly spotlight and all of that. If you are new or haven't been listening a whole lot, or if you've been listening for a while, maybe send an episode, one of your favorites, to a friend that might like to listen, because
and if you are that friend,
grow the audience.
Hello, welcome. Please listen to the whole thing. So book update. I have great news. So I had set a goal to read 50 books for 2023. Megan and I also both use Goodreads. I feel like some people ask like every once in a while which app we use to track our reading. Goodreads is by far the most popular one. It's the only one that we use. And they have like a yearly goal that you can set, at the start of every year. So we've already started our 2024 reading goals. And I had set mine for 50, and I hit it right on the money yesterday, December 31st of 2023. So I was like, there's no way I'm not hitting this goal. So I finished reading When in Rome. I gave it 4 stars.
I've met my goal quite a while ago because I had made my goal to be 45 books for last year, and I read 58 books. So I've been kind of just cruising, hanging out. This year I upped my book goal to 50 books, which obviously I already did that this past year, but I just didn't want to like jump too far ahead, especially like if the books I read are perhaps a little bit longer or whatever. So 50 books is my goal for this year, and I love getting on like the new year and like seeing all the people I follow, like they're updating their reading goal. They're like, this is what I want to do. This is my intention for the year.
Starting the year off right. I set my goal to be at 50 again as well this year, essentially, like since I hit it right on. And also like I didn't have a dog at the beginning of the year, and then I got a dog, and that made it harder to read. So I'll be happy if I can just keep the same pace as I had last year. I did set kind of like another reading goal in my head for myself of like not just a number goal, but I pretty much exclusively read fiction. And so I've set a goal for myself to read at least 3 nonfiction books this year.
Do you feel like, and maybe you have like no thoughts at all, but it's like, do you think they're going to be like memoirs or
that's kind of
perhaps?
I still like a story element to it, and so I definitely think like Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, or is it Green Light? I don't know. I think that would for sure be one of them. And I've read memoirs in the past where I still like that element of storytelling. But obviously it's like a little bit more of like a life lesson probably somewhere in there.
Yeah, you could use McCurdy's book since everyone raves so much about that.
But if you guys have read nonfiction books and you have like a good one for me, I'm not really into like the self-help type of book, so I probably wouldn't read that if it was recommended to me, but I'm open to other like nonfiction, not memoir books if they're highly acclaimed by you guys.
I am reading Act of War still. I'm hopeful to maybe like if I was really doing a good job through the rest of today, I could finish it today, because I don't know
how much do you have left?
I have over 100 pages still.
There's no offense, no way if we're doing this podcast and then if we're going to trivia, there's just
you're
no way.
Probably right, but anyways,
I started ACOTAR.
I've been bargaining with Ciera. I was like, you guys know I've kind of like been on this journey where I've been just like not sure how I felt about it, but I feel like the more into the series I get, I'm also being like bombarded with more like related content on like TikTok or like different memes of stuff, and I really feel like I'm just getting like a deeper connection to the world and the characters. And this book has also been my favorite book so far of the series, I think. And it's also like the further you get in the series, and it's probably like as relatable to a lot of fantasy series, but you start to like think back to other things that happened earlier in the series and like how you didn't know what you know now. So it's like it gives you like that element of like almost like wanting to reread it again, which is something you only do for books you really like. So basically all that being said, I'm like, Ciera, you need to start ACOTAR just so you can like join the world with me.
And I was holding off because, like I said, I was right on the money for hitting my reading goal, and the ACOTAR series tends to have
at least the
longer
first
books.
book is like a normal length book.
Yeah, but I wanted to like hold off because I was like, Megan, I need to read quick, snappy books to finish my goal. So yeah, I'm literally only like 2 chapters in, so I have pretty much no thoughts. Otherwise, what other stuff do we have reading wise?
Next, I want to reread Book Lovers. I'm pretty sure. I love Emily Henry's books. I'm in like a reread mood, and then I don't know. The next book in the ACOTAR series is like that super short one, so like that would be an easy one to like do next. But I don't know. I'm pretty open. I've got like a couple different books still that.
Is it that short one and it's like the long?
It's the short one,
the last one,
and then that long last one. That's the.
Is
last
that like
two.
that? The series is done.
No, apparently it's not. I think so. Originally, what I found out, the first 3 books, it was supposed to be just a trilogy. I think.
Okay.
And then I think slowly, based on like how popular the series has gotten, like she's increased it. I don't really know what the short one's about, but I know the last one is from different characters' POV, and so
I think one is from Nesta's point of view, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the last one.
Oh, okay.
Look at you, even like knowing the characters.
See, I already knew that. Like going into it, I was like, oh, she has her own book, I think.
Yeah. And I think I've heard that she's working on like there will be more, but I don't know. So I also saw you like added Throne of Glass to your want to read.
I like know that it's something I do want to read at some point in the future.
You should probably put Assassin's Blade first.
I do need to do that probably. If we're gonna be a prequel first household.
Yeah. So those are kind of my reading updates. We do have a bunch of Barnes and Noble gift cards though, so like there could be a Barnes and Noble trip in my future, and that could completely mess up the order in which I'm saying I'm gonna read these.
And I do have a couple other quick like rom-com books. Like I have Mrs. Nash's Ashes that I want to read at some point.
The Friend Zone.
Yeah, got a couple Abby Jimenez books that I could read. So, but we're excited for a fun start to the reading year.
Our book videos or our book podcast episodes coming up this weekend, actually, I believe. Ciera and I are going to be posting a video on our YouTube channel of our top 23 books of 2023, and it's a list that we have crafted based on books that we have both read in 2023, which was just over 23 books, so we picked and organized our collective thoughts in order. So, should be fun. Okay, I think that what we're going to do, because we had this plan of just recapping you guys on like our New Year's / long weekend anyways, and we didn't have, either of us, like a particularly like this was a weekly spotlight.
And we just watched the Iowa game. And that was not a spotlight.
No. And so we're just going to stick to doing like a recap, our 3-day weekend, like having a 3-day weekend.
Well, mine was not a 3-day weekend, but it was like a 2.5-day weekend. Yeah. I had to work, since I didn't work on Christmas, I shifted my schedule for Tuesday through Saturday, but Saturday was like a short day, so I worked a half day.
So you'll take it.
2.5 days.
So if you guys know us, you know that we are never really like, we don't go out a lot. Like it's not really what we do. The first time we ever even went out
was in grad
college
school.
Was in grad school, because we just never had, I would say we didn't have interest, but we also like didn't have like a friend group that we felt comfortable like going and doing that.
We also like, we still don't drink, but like we were never like going to like, you know, go drink. And even now it still feels awkward to like go out just the two of us because we don't drink.
Yeah.
So you know, mental hurdles there.
Anyways, so we had decided, because you may be wondering, if you don't really like doing that much, like why go? And that's a good question. We just wanted to.
Did you even say that we went out for New Year's?
I think so. Maybe not.
I thought you were like,
we did go out for New Year's. Mostly, I think we both just wanted to kind of force ourselves outside of our comfort zone a little bit. And in our whole, like, I don't want to say, like, the only reason we went out was to, like, try and meet people. Because, like, realistically, I know that, like, I wasn't really going to go up and, like, mingle with other people. And this is probably, like, a flaw I'm just further realizing within myself.
Like, introspectively.
Let's deep dive.
All right.
We were trying to come up with ideas, first of all.
Well, here, let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not
historically,
well,
for New Year's Eve, Megan and I have always been the people that don't do anything on New Year's.
And there's nothing, like,
there's truly nothing wrong with that. Like, genuinely, most of the time, like, next year, I could very well be sitting on my couch, like, you know, watching
be having
the ball drop.
a fine time.
And like that is fine. And I know that a lot of people like overhype and get annoyed with how hyped up New Year's Eve is. And so like I recognize that like I'm not saying you have to go out to have a good time. But Megan and I have always been kind of like, you know, like grass is greener on the other side. Like we've never experienced going out.
I think that part of the thought process for this year was that, and we had talked about last week too, like our kind of like dating app hiatus. It was kind of like if the goal is to like maybe rely less on dating apps, like me staying in my house is not going to be fruitful at all.
And it's also, it's not just dating, it's like trying to meet other people, like we talked about last week, I think.
And obviously,
like wanting to build a community.
There's other ways, like besides going out to bars and whatnot, to like meet people. But we just thought like,
it's like
New Year's, like let's.
What are you supposed to do?
And I think between the both of us too, we have always been like, if it's just the two of us, like we don't want to go out because like we are not going out people. So we're like, this could be a not fun mix. We'll get into that. And so, but like we at least tried it, okay? So at the very least, we tried it, and we can solidify or not solidify,
or like we can always
our
like
prior thoughts,
change things, try different places, different types of events.
Or like we had asked one of our friends if like she wanted to join us, and like she kind of was going to at first, and then like it fell through, and we just decided to go anyways. We should have. We had a couple different options we were considering, and I think that in the future we need to continue to prioritize like what we want to do. What's going to lead to us having the most fun, regardless of anything else that's happening. And the reason I say that is because we were kind of stuck between two final options for what we were debating between. And one was like just a generic, like we did have to pay a cover for either of these options, but one was like a generic, there's a DJ at this place, come hang out. Yeah. And then the other one was a different place, and they were doing a Taylor Swift night. And so in my head, I was kind of like, well, I like Taylor Swift. I'd probably have a good time there. Mm-hmm. But I think both of us also kind of thought like maybe that'd niche down like the people that would be meet. The people we'd be interacting with. Yes.
The guys that would be there.
And maybe it would have been a green flag though if they would have been there.
Yeah.
But then I feel like they would have had like a girlfriend that convinced them to go there.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, the place that we ended up going to, it seemed like most of the people that were there like were in a relationship.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the DJ at the place we went to, we were not impressed with, just at all. And so being that we're not there really socializing because like we're with each other all day, being that we're kind of on the dance floor,
strange.
And like we were having a bad time, but like if I'm not, like I wasn't having like a good amazing time, you know, and my face certainly shows that. I'm not like I could be having a completely content fine time, and I'm going to look like I'm having a terrible time because like I'm so,
and like I wouldn't even necessarily claim that like either of us have an RBF or anything, but we're definitely very like stoic in our natural
and maybe like standoffish looking. And like yesterday we stayed long enough to be there for the countdown at midnight, and then we shortly left after because we were like, I think we're done here. So,
which is too bad because I'm not even opposed to like, I do generally like to dance and stuff. Like,
no, I would say
with good songs.
When we went out the couple times we did in grad school, where we actually had like some friends we were with, and there was like one bar specifically that I think usually had like pretty good music. Like, I would have a pretty good time going and like dancing and singing. But if that's not a component that I can partake in, then I'm quite literally just like standing around twiddling my thumbs, doing nothing. And then it's like I look like I'm not having a good time because I'm probably not having a good time. And so like, then I was like, that doesn't translate.
Then we talk about how we look standoffish. We are standoffish.
No one's gonna want to come up, and I'm not going up to anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I even like, not that like too many people came up to talk to us anyways, but like even when people like do come up to talk, I'm like, well, what do you want?
I'm like, what is wrong with me?
So like, what am I expecting? What am I hoping happens?
No.
I don't know.
I'm kind of,
I should go to therapy for this.
I think this solidified that like, this isn't a way for me to like meet people. This isn't the setting, because like, it's just not, I can tell it like doesn't work for me is what I'm saying. So we at least,
anyway, let's talk about why I didn't like the DJ. Because the DJ, the music that they played, it's probably pretty popular in normal like club, dancey, bar music. But Meg and I like don't know a lot of those songs because we like don't go out a lot. And so everyone would be like, oh, like, yeah, like running to the dance floor. I'm like, what is this? I've never heard this before. And he also, I just feel like his mixing was not very good. Like to get into his, you know, some technical critiques, he would like pause the music.
Like it was like offbeat.
Yeah.
But he'd be like doing it where he thinks people are like singing, which like people were singing, but like not loud enough to like necessitate like
Pause.
it being on for one word. Pause.
Yeah.
It was just not great. Not great.
So yeah. Overall, I'm glad that we tried something different. The contrary was us just doing the same thing
that we have
done every year.
And that we will possibly return to doing.
But, you know, at least we saw how the other side lived for a change. Mm-hmm. Got to dress in a cute little outfit.
Yeah. So that was that. That was our New Year's. And I don't really have anything else to add to that. I did eat some grapes, but it was not at midnight.
And
but they had like a
table.
charcuterie board spread. And I was like looking through the table and I was like, I don't even know what half this food is. So I saw some grapes, which I knew what grapes were.
That's gotta be safe.
So had some grapes, had like a little bit of salami or whatever.
Coke.
Yeah.
Because Megan went up to go get drinks and then
he was like, do you have a tab open? And I was like, no. And I was like trying to hand him my card and he's like, just, it's whatever.
He's like, this is not worth my time.
And
for
like,
being
another thing where it's like,
not bad.
No, it was actually, it wasn't too bad. But that's like another thing where it's just like, and I'm probably the only one internalizing this, but I'm just like, it just feels off. Like the going out, like there's certain reasons people like going out and we are actively like disliking all of those things.
Like we're not dancing, we're not drinking. What are we doing there?
We're not really socialized. So anyways, we tried it. It allowed us something to reflect upon, to really like give some factualization behind thoughts. And
what are you saying?
It just solidified my thoughts, I guess, on how I do in that setting.
Yeah.
It's weird too because like I think that what I would describe it as is like more of like an overthinking type of thing. And like I also like am not gonna fake enjoy like things just to like say I'm having a good time. Like if I'm not enjoying something, like I'm not gonna say I am. And where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I had a train of thought, I promise, but I don't recall what it was now.
Anyway, lesson learned. If we do or do not go out again anytime in the future, we may let you know. Let you know if we change things up and see if that makes a difference.
Oh, I remember my train of thought. Like some people I think would be like, oh, are you guys like socially anxious? But I don't feel that way. Or like I don't feel, at least like the normal like description of anxiety, like people like literally having like heart beating, like super anxious, nervous, clammy. Like I don't feel that. I just feel kind of like a dread of not wanting to do something, at least like initially. Like getting us to go inside, that's a different story. Because that took a while because it seemed like no one was there.
Empty.
It seemed like no one was there. It was not completely empty when we went inside. So maybe everyone just like Ubered, but like the parking lot was suspiciously empty. So it took us quite a while to like go inside. Anyways, so I don't know like what you describe. Like what's the reason? What's the why?
I don't know.
So
something to explore further.
Yeah.
For 2024.
All this is being said more so for your guys' entertainment and like maybe relatability, not necessarily for critique also.
For some specific audience members who like to critique everything we do or say.
Yeah.
Anyways, should we get into our ins and outs for 2024?
Sure.
Okay. So, I need to open up my note. My first in of 2024 is car rides. Specifically, getting over my fear of long car rides. And by fear, I mean that in the sense of like, before 2023, I think the longest car ride I had been on was when I went to Florida. And that was like 24 hours collectively. It was the worst thing ever. I'm still not willing to go that far. But I think the experience we had on that car ride and how like negatively I viewed it, I was like, I'm not going
like
on a long
any
car
long
ride
car ride
ever again.
No.
And this past year we went on like three long car rides. It was Cincinnati, Wisconsin, and then North Dakota, ranging from like 7 to 10 hours for all of those. And 2 of them, Meg and I drove. 1 of them, we were just passengers. But I was like, you know what? This length of car ride is not that bad. And I feel like I've been limiting myself to like when I want to go on trips and stuff. Like, well, I have to fly somewhere. That's like worth it. Or I've said like, well, I don't want to drive, to this place 'cause it's too far for me to drive. And so I'm trying to like get over that fear and say, you know what? You're not limited to places that you need to fly to or like places within like only 3 hours of driving, because you've proved that you are capable of driving farther distances and you're holding yourself back. So in long car rides, maybe.
I have my first in is digital cameras.
I have that as an in as well.
I have been since probably for the past 6 months, primarily been using our G7X for photos. I honestly should try and get like a habit of like taking it more consistently, just like when I'm going places or doing things, because like I just feel like it doesn't take much for it to get a good picture.
Well, here's the funny thing is I feel like you say this and a lot of people would like automatically think like, oh, like trying that hard for a photo like makes it seem more vain. But really, it's almost like you're trying less hard because it looks so much better than 90% of phone pictures that like you only have to take like a couple pictures.
No, it seriously is like
you're done.
I don't even know the last time I Instagrammed something where the first picture was from a picture I taken on my phone. Because like I'll include phone pics on like dumps and stuff, but I usually like to have like a more feed appropriate cover photo. And like I only take, especially because that camera can sometimes be freaking annoying, but I only take so many photos with that where I'm like, okay, we're done now, because it is a flash. It's kind of obnoxious sometimes, so like we can only try so many times. But usually like I get a good picture versus like the 1 in 100 of the iPhone pictures that you're like quickly tapping through to see if you get a good one. So it's just, and I haven't bought any of these other ones, like the G7X we've had for a while. It's an expensive digital camera, but we had it for vlogging anyways. But I've seen like some pretty impressive TikToks of people who are showing like pretty cheap digital cameras and like what they end up looking like. And I've sent a couple to Maggie because she, after we visited Cincinnati, was like wanting to get a digital camera for Instagram pictures. So I've sent her like a couple different TikToks that were pretty persuasive. I don't remember what the cameras were, but I would say it's a trend to jump on.
Should we go all ins or like switch off between ins and outs?
I don't care. I have fewer outs.
Okay, well, I'm going to do my out next. One of my outs. My first out is fast fashion. And I feel like I need to preface everything by saying, obviously, fast fashion is some people's only way of getting trendy clothing at an affordable price that they can manage. Okay, now that's out of the way. If you can afford to buy clothing that is not fast fashion, you should do so, because fast fashion supports labor with poor pay. Lots of labor with poor pay is what I'm saying. And the pieces are often not made well. You go through clothing a lot faster. It's also like a lot of just trendy pieces, and trends come and go very quickly. Therefore, you get rid of those clothes fast, and then you need to buy more. And while it's cheaper for you, while you're buying it, it generally leads to overconsumption and overpaying for stuff anyways. So I say this as someone who like generally doesn't partake in fast fashion, I would say. Just as a reminder for you guys to, you don't need to spend like $100 on a t-shirt, but just try and see where your clothing is made. See if you can pay a fair price for a decent article of clothing.
I also think like that a mindset of like holding off on like that initial want to get something is like would help a lot of people avoid like fast fashion purchases. Like if you're only like shopping every once in a while and you're going on and like you can do the thing where you're like adding stuff to your cart, but then like wait a second.
Yeah.
And I feel like give it like a week, come back, and unless you were like dying to have like those pieces with you immediately, then like you're probably going to be fine without it.
Like even if I'm like scrolling through TikTok sometimes and people are saying like, oh, like here's this shirt, and I think initially like, oh, like that looks cute, but they say it's from like Shein or something, I'm like instantly like, oh, I'm never buying that.
Yeah.
Like there are just certain websites that I'm like, I'm never going to buy from that website because I am in a fortunate enough spot that I don't need to
Or
like
Temu
rely
or
on
whatever the other ones
yeah.
are. The amount of emails we've gotten for Temu partnerships, oh my god.
Oh really? Megan's in charge of like
Yeah.
our business.
It's
email
ridiculous.
stuff.
Okay. My second in.
You have to do your out.
Oh, sorry. My first out, this might have been included because this was the one you showed me earlier. Yucking people's yum is out for 2024. And here's what I mean. This is like kind of specific because just being
A hater
negative and a hater is
good.
not yucking people's yum. It is okay to have an opinion.
To be a hater.
And to be a hater sometimes. The issue, like this is when it's not appropriate. Someone is actively, like during conversation,
Expressing
saying how much
their
they
like.
enjoy something, a person, food, game, TV, like whatever it is, they're expressing their pure enjoyment for said item. And then someone else just decides to jump in and say, I hate that. I hate that so much. No one asked. No one asked. I just think it's like, we're not engaging in a conversation to be like, you like this or you don't like it. Someone's just having a good time, minding their own business. It's different if you're engaging like a conversation that's like wanting to like know someone's opinions, or like if you're getting to know someone, like there's a difference between that and then like someone who's just jumping in to offer like,
Oh, I
don't
hate
like
that.
I hate that.
Like,
That's when
oh,
it's yucking people's yum.
I love this new song that just came out on the radio. Oh, I hate that. Like I heard that, last week, hated it. You're like, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. So there is a difference because like I will be the first to admit that like,
I love the way
I will
it feels to be a hater.
Yeah. There are certain things where that's how you just get your feelings out and it feels good, but not in that setting, not in that way.
Also, I just love how that phrase sounds. Don't yuck my yum. Mm-hmm. Okay, my next in, because we already said digital cameras. My next in is sunscreen. I started implementing wearing sunscreen daily in 2023, and I
It's bad
plan
about me.
to continue
The
doing
sun
so.
goes away, so does my sunscreen use.
Like in the winter?
Yeah.
The sun does not go away, though.
It gets cloudy.
They say that makes the sun shine more. I don't know the best way to say that.
Well, point
anyway.
is, I have not been.
And that's
on
why
top of it
we're going
as
to be
I
one of
used
those
to be.
people. We're going to be a case study when we're like both 80. And they'll be like, look at Ciera's skin. This is the identical twin that wore sunscreen every day. And her skin is so much less wrinkled and so much less spotty than this twin who didn't wear sunscreen every day.
I need to get better at it again.
And you got to start now because you're not going to realize until later. You're like, I should have worn some sunscreen. And it's easy enough. I do my moisturizer and then I do my sunscreen. And someone's probably going to tell me that's the wrong order.
With my super goop, I would mix it with my moisturizer.
I use the Roche Posay sunscreen, Anthelios or whatever it is. But yeah, obviously, like to say, like I've noticed, I've noticed this like benefit.
Yeah.
No. I just hope years from now, I reap the benefits.
Okay. My next in is hosting. Yeah. I have this idea. I have this idea of like, I would love to be someone who could like host a random get together, or even like we don't have like, whenever we do family stuff, like it's never at our house. And in theory it could be, it just never is. So I think it would be good to take on more of a hosting role and to kind of like put a little more effort into something like that. So
I like that idea. Kind of goes in line with like, the book club that I may or may not ever start.
yeah.
I would love to be able to host something like that.
So that was my second one.
Okay. Are we going through outs now? My second out, and I've been implementing this, and I encourage all of you to do so. Social media notifications are out. You don't need to know what's going on social media. At least, like, not generally.
Not in real time.
You don't need to know that Amanda liked your Instagram photo. You'll see that when you get on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Facebook, like, you don't need notifications on.
You know what we need to
for any
talk
of this
about
stuff.
quickly? speaking of Twitter, X, whatever.
Yeah.
Did anyone else realize that their their X algorithm has changed in like the past 2-3 weeks?
To like
Because
this morbid stuff
Ciera
that's going on.
Because we just did an episode not that long ago where we were talking about what your social media says about you. And when I tell you that my ex specifically was like just sports stuff, like 99% of it, that's what it was. And that's what I was used to. And I felt like that's what I was expecting to go on and see. And then in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm getting like way more. Specifically, there's like a morbid knowledge account. And Ciera was saying she's been getting the same thing. Granted, because they keep showing it on that For You page.
Like, I am looking at it.
Reading it. And then I'm like, well, stop showing up because I don't want to read whatever it is. They're just like weird stories of random things happening or that have happened before. And then also I've been getting a lot more just like Twitter back in the day is kind of how I would describe it, where it's just like random tweets that are like, these are not from like popular accounts or from like well-known people. It's just like random people who I'm now seeing like a tweet of theirs that like went viral. I don't know. That's how I would describe it. And it's been weird because that's not usually what my Twitter looks like. So
let us know if your X has updated. And it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what I use X for at this point.
It's been confusing me because I'm like,
this is kind of interesting, I guess. But like, what am I going on this app for? What am I looking for?
So anyways, back to what you were saying. Not having notifications on.
Yeah. I think this started mostly like when we started getting popular, like more followers and stuff. It just became like annoying to get that many notifications. But now I just think no one needs notifications. Like, if your follower count is 2 people or 1 million people, it's just telling you if someone commented something or liked something.
Is in for the new year.
Yeah. I like to be able to see when people text me.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's more like people that I actually know that are asking something of me and therefore I should respond. But I get like the energy, you know?
Yeah.
I personally am just implementing that in like no notifications from apps and stuff though.
Mm-hmm. My next out is ugly nails. And this is like,
I have biting my nails.
Me is what this is for. I just like pretty nails are in, clean hands. I would say jewelry, but like I don't realistically ever wear jewelry. I love the look of people who are like clean, fresh nails. Maybe they're painted or not, and some jewelry. Love the look of that. That's like my vibe in theory, but like in practice, it's
everyone
probably never
has like a theoretical vibe, and then their vibe in practice.
Yeah. There is no elaboration except for the fact that like I need to take.
I'm 24 years old. I need to stop biting my nails.
Mm-hmm. So, I wish there was more, but that's it.
That was one of my outs as well. Okay, my next in sweet treats.
We already had some sweet treats today. A couple ice cream sandwiches.
I've long implemented sweet treats, but I feel like it's like becoming more and more talked about, like on social media and stuff too. Like, oh, like it's sweet treat o'clock.
Sweet treat outfit. If you don't, like people who like don't have sweet treats at home, so then you just like go in their sweet treat outfit to go and get a sweet treat.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a lover of sweet treats. Typically always have ice cream on hand. We just had some ice cream sandwiches when we were at Dad's house. It just is a good pick-me-up. And it's also like if you go somewhere to like get a sweet treat, it's a fun little outing.
Mm-hmm. You only get so many outings.
And it's like also, you know how some people, I mean, everyone goes and gets sweet treats, but like it's not like, oh, like let's go grab a drink. It's like, let's go grab a sweet treat.
Yeah. Know? Or like the idea of like, we don't really do this, but like we have gone and like ordered Pizookies to go before, or like just like going to get like
your something treat. Going to get our cookies from Crumble or Insomnia.
Yeah, we've been big like cookie girls the past few months, because I'd be like, I don't really get the idea of Insomnia or Crumble, because I always was kind of like, you could just make cookies at home, which granted we have been doing that as well, or sometimes if I'm thinking about it at the store, like I'll get the cookies at the store, but it's just kind of more so like the idea of like,
you want someone else to make it for you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what the purpose of the restaurant and food industry is. Someone else is doing it. My next in is wholesome friend groups. This is something I have wholesome friends, but like a group of them.
What's your ideal like
not
friend
so
group size?
It's a good question. I feel like And this is far fetched because like this would be like in the perfect of ideal worlds. I want my friend group to also be like me and my significant others. What am I saying? Me and my friends and our significant others. Like we're all collectively like a solid friend group that everyone enjoys. I feel like if there was like 3 other girls, me, you, 3 other girls, and then any significant others
can join.
That's a good number.
I agree. I was gonna say 3 to 4.
Okay, similar vibe
for a total of 5 or 6,
give or take.
That's the math behind that.
So wholesome friend group. They're in for 2024.
I know. I really like. I am trying to figure out. You could
try Bumble BFF and see if you like it.
I could. But I have to make a whole new account.
You have to just respond within 24 hours. Did you know that?
I think
it kind of makes it annoying, but
I think so. I don't know.
Some people would also like put their Instagrams though in case like you didn't respond within time, but also like I don't like doing that either.
I'm not opposed. I'm also not loving the idea.
Yeah,
but
you're out next.
My next out is kind of my last
and then
one.
like since we're gonna run out of outs, we'll just like rapid fire ins at the end and hopefully end on a positive note.
This was my last out because I already said bye to my nails. Waiting for things to happen. This is like going, I feel like in our like existential like crisis.
I have an
mode.
Out. Overthinking is an out for me. Overthinking. Out.
Stop doing it. Waiting for things to happen is out in the sense that I feel like I've always just kind of been like waiting like for friends to find me, waiting for like a significant other to find me, like waiting for.
It is time to take the power back.
This stuff. We are taking the power back, and I don't necessarily know what that means yet because I'm trying to still figure out what that means for me. Like trying to like make progress towards like finding friends, finding community, all that stuff that I was talking about in the last episode without like pushing it too hard where it's like the only thing that I'm trying to do is like I'm trying to do this stuff to make friends. Like I'm trying to do this to like find someone to date because I don't want it to be like that like ulterior motive as well. So yeah, I don't have an answer for that one of what I'm going to do, but it's waiting for things to happen is out.
I have 2 more outs. One is doom scrolling. Just like at the end of the night, I feel like the more you're on social media, the more you start to compare yourselves to other people, and it's just not healthy. So that's out for this year. And then my last one is TikTok shop / overconsumption.
Oh wait, I just realized I had one that I didn't even say, but it was Amazon storefront and TikTok shop. I
just feel like this isn't new, but like especially at the end of this past year, like everything is being shown to us just to be sold.
I know.
To us.
I'm like, stop trying to sell me something.
For like everyone's just trying to make commission, and it is like normal people now. Like the ability to just like market anything without having an audience because of things like the Amazon storefront or TikTok shop, and like it's not all bad because I understand people are just like trying to make money, but it's always presented in such a way where like they're trying to be genuine, but they're just trying to sell you, and like at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. People buy into it, and I just think we need to stop.
We live in a society. I agree. It's hard to like get mad at the individual person because like everyone's just trying to get theirs where they can.
Yeah.
But like when you see it so often, it's like every time you're scrolling, it's like someone selling you something. I'm just like, you're literally only making this TikTok raving about these pajama pants so that someone else will buy them from you.
Yeah.
To make money. We need a little bit more authenticity than that. Like Megan and I, we've, obviously, like, we are influencers. Like, we have been.
I think there's less dirty ways to go about trying to do the commission business. Yeah. And, like, we hardly make any money off of commissions. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just because I feel dirty constantly promoting something that, like, no one really cares about. So those are all my outs. And now we can jump into some more of the ins for 2024. Finish up with those.
I had one more.
Just one more?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Going to the movies.
Why did I have that in mind? What? I said movies in theaters is in. I feel like we're finally starting to get like good movie production again, and like movies are coming out more frequently.
To me,
you know
honestly,
what sucks, you guys? Last year, like I swear at the beginning of last year, were we not talking about Ciera and I eventually were going to become AMC A-listers to get our money's worth, and there are no longer any more AMCs around. The last one closed, so
well, in our area.
Well, yeah.
To clarify, everyone else that's like listening that has AMC A-list is like, what?
So, yeah. Now we have like different movie theaters we can go to, but like, I don't think any of them have as good of a deal as that one.
Yeah. I think some of them technically still do have some sort of program that we should look into.
What they want.
We just need to pick like what our theater is going to be and then see what they've got.
Yeah.
I have, Megan and I have been movie girls. Like we, even in undergrad.
I've been pro movie theater.
We would always like love to go to movies.
It forces you, like, first of all, the experience, the popcorn, the food, it forces you to get your money's worth and pay attention to the movie. Mm-hmm. And also, I like going and like watching the previews for other movies while you're in the theater so you can see what else is coming out.
You know what I don't like? How many ads they're playing before movies now. Like, it used to just be only trailers, and now it's like more ads than trailers.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. But yeah, we just went and saw The Iron Claw. Loved that one. And I just love like going to the movies. It's dark outside, like a little nightly activity.
It's good for winter. Mm-hmm. It really is.
So, love it. Love the movies. We'll continue to go to the movies.
In water. I don't drink enough water. It's been particularly bad at the end of this past year. Like, to the point where, like, most of the time I'm not even bringing a water bottle to my workouts.
I don't.
And
I don't really drink water at the gym
like,
either.
I know that, like, my legs are more crampy and, like, sore than they probably otherwise would be. So, this was Ciera actually was talking about getting a water bottle that would maybe have, like, the time on it to, like, kind of
I genuinely feel like I need that.
Or gamify drinking water so that we're more motivated to do that. Wouldn't be a bad idea at this point. So, I have 7 more ins.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Sit back and relax.
I will.
Creativity in the kitchen is in.
I always feel like re-inspired at the start of the new year to like get creative with the types of food that we make.
The thing that brings us back to always kind of like the meals that we stick with are the ones that are easy, reheat well, and taste good. Like, pretty simple. That's all it takes.
I liked that one HelloFresh meal that you did not want to try again. It was like the rice, zucchini.
I know what you're talking about.
Sour cream, whatever.
I feel like there's too much going on with that dish for me to like actively enjoy it, like to be a new staple. Maybe we could try it again at some point. But I don't have like any set recipes I'm like dying to try, but we have been doing the same 2 meals for our lunches.
Like, it's genuinely ridiculous.
Like, that's what I just went grocery shopping for, and makes grocery shopping easy. But I'm open to trying some new things and having some fun with different recipes. Weekend getaways and staycations are in.
Megan and I are in the process.
We're in the process of trying
plan
a more getaway. So like you said, we're just trying to kind of find like the little escapist moments in our, corporate world that we all live in, where we can have those little pockets of
vacation without taking vacation.
Yeah. So, for us, that means we got to go within driving distance. Most places are going to be cold, so it's kind of going to be about embracing the cabin winter vibe with like the different places we're looking at, and having like a cozy weekend in and exploring like a new little town, likely. Next, this is funny because I said this yesterday. I told you this was one of my ins before we were trying to go in to the brewery, and I was like, it's not that serious. That's like a mantra for this year. That's in. It's not that serious. And I said this kind of jokingly to Ciera yesterday with like, we were waiting in her car for so long because like, I cannot tell you how empty this parking lot looked compared to like, there were people inside. So everyone must just carpool or Uber. Like,
or like
that's
have
what
walked.
That's what I decided. But like, we were just like, oh my God, we're going to go inside and like, no one's going to be inside. And what are we supposed to do? We're just trying to blend in. We can't blend in if no one's inside. And so we were just like waiting in the car for like quite a while. And then I was like, you know, my mantra for next year is like, it's not that serious. As we're like making this like the most serious thing ever. So my goal, and like this applies to like many aspects. I feel like for dating, I kind of want to like take that mantra on a little bit. Not in the sense of like not having any care in the world of like who I'm dating, but just kind of like,
it's not that
don't
serious.
need to envision my entire life with someone before even going on the first date. It's not that serious. So
I need to probably implement that as well.
Yeah, that's the motto, and it can apply to many aspects. Last few. This would be big of me, but small talk in. I as a person could work to be better at this, and yeah, I think it would be just a good skill to work on.
Just a muscle you gotta flex a little bit.
Yeah. And I feel like if you just kind of like find the groove, find the right questions to ask, like once you kind of do it a few times, I think like it would automatically like just get easier and easier. And then
yeah, I agree. I could probably implement that as well. I think the second someone that I don't know comes up to like talk to me, I'm just like, why are you doing this?
Like, I don't know you.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not, again, we talked about this at the beginning. How do I expect to meet or talk to anyone ever if I desire friendship, relationships, anything with people that I do not already know? How else is this going to happen if I'm just like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah. Next in Pinterest.
I love
I've
Pinterest.
been like I've never disliked Pinterest. I always appreciate and love Pinterest for what it is, but I sometimes just like find I'm going on it less and less, and I'm just like, no. Pinterest
Stay
is back
on it.
in. It is good for outfit planning. It is good for inspo. It is good for food. Like, it has everything on there and more. And so I'm trying. I feel like I use it mostly as like an inspo board, and like that's
oh, gee, I wonder what that's. It's almost like it's named after that.
Pinterest.
Pinspo.
And I've got two more ins. One, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier with like hosting, but like reaching out. I feel like that's gonna be another in because I could be better at that. My last one. This was a random one. Getting shoes to match the outfit is.
I need
for
more
next
shoes.
Year.
Oh my god.
This was inspired probably in part by trying to find an outfit yesterday.
Like
Here's the thing. I could have cute little outfit. No shoes to match. Outfit is ruined. And I need to get better. This isn't me saying to like, I don't want to like, this is what, honestly, like, I don't like to over consume. So like I hold off on buying extra things. But there are things where it's like, I need to find kind of like, with different looks that I like, what am I noticing are shoes that work well with them, and then like, you know, picking out those few shoes that would give me a lot of use.
Yeah, like we don't need 5 black boots. We just need like, here's your black boots, here's your brown boots if you want them. Like, I just need more color options and more styles, because there's certain outfits that I'm putting together. Like for New Year's last night, I was trying to put an outfit together, and I was like, these shoes do not work with the hemline of this pant, but it's also winter, and so my shoe options are limited. So
ended up going with like little heels anyways.
Yeah.
So winter played no part.
Yeah, but it could have if I had the right shoe.
Those are my ins. Those are all of them.
All of my ins and outs have been said as well. Let us know your ins and outs of 2024. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can comment them just in the comments. If you are just listening, feel free to go to our Instagram. We have an Instagram post for this episode, hopefully up. You can comment your ins and outs on that.
Otherwise, we will talk to you guys next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.